Happy Sunday, everybody. Steve here, back again. Sorry it's been so long. It's been 2 weeks since my last post here on the channel. Um, been you can go ahead and insert comments now about how tired I look. It's been pretty hectic. I was gone for 2 weeks with ATI flying. Actually, I didn't do much flying. I was gone for 2 weeks and flew twice. I did go out to the jet a couple of times intending to fly, and then they turned us off. So was sitting hot reserve, which basically is a short call standby. So we'd have the jet ready, and they'd call us up and say, get out there. We need you to fly to Denver or whatever to save something that was falling through. Somebody wasn't going to get their dongles in time, so they sent us out there, and then they stopped it. So I flew twice, 14 days. I came home, got home on what day did I get home? It was last week. I got home on, what's today, Sunday? Yeah, so holy smoke. I'm losing track of time here. I got home on the 7th. I got home on the night of the 7th and was home. Got home that night, and then we turned around the next day. We drove up to see Bella up at Liberty. It was a parents' weekend there, so we went up there and got to see her and meet some of her friends and had dinner with her and all. So we spent the weekend there and left Sunday and drove to Arlene's sister's house. And then we were there. Arlene stayed. I turned around and left on Monday and flew out to Seattle to do some work with Boeing. And so I was there, and not only that, but I was working the night shift. So it was like a complete opposite, time zone. So not only did I go out to the West Coast, different 3 time zones, but also flip-flopped to nights working there. So I was out there until Thursday, and then I worked all night Wednesday night to Thursday, and then caught a flight back here, actually to back to Virginia, where Arlene's this in-laws live. And yeah, I was pretty wore out. I slept that night. I slept about 10 hours. I haven't slept that long probably since college. And then last night, and then we drove back on Saturday here back home. So back home, here I am. So that's kind of the latest. I've got the rest of the week here. I'll back out on the road again on Friday, heading back out. So hopefully do a lot more flying than sitting. We'll see. So kind of getting towards the end of the book of Isaiah, and this particular verse or particular chapter I'll read today reminded me of a story. Look, I'm in Isaiah 53, and it reminded me of a story I heard about this big church somewhere. Had just hired a new pastor, and so everybody was all excited. Everybody, the big turnout, because they wanted to see this new pastor and looking forward to it, right? So so everybody's showing up in their finery and everything else. Well, there was this one guy out front, obviously, just a street vagrant, guy, bum off the street, out front of the church, and nobody said anything to him. Nobody, they just kind of ignored him, and everything else passed by, went on in. Well, horror of horrors, this guy comes in, and then of course they're people are kind of talking to him, and the ushers kind of put him away in a far corner where or hey, you sure you want to be here? And because they were a little worried that the new pastor was going to see this guy and go, what in the world, that was going to kind of spoil things. And, everybody kind of sitting away from him. Nobody said anything to him. Nobody talked to him. And so the time came, and everybody's all excited, and they get through with the hymns and all. Okay, we're ready to meet the new pastor. Here he is. And the bum walks down the aisle, and everybody's going, "What in the world is this guy doing?" And it was him, and he had disguised himself as a bum to make a point, that this is what we're all here for. I mean, he was just of no account. He's like, was it because of what I was wearing that you just didn't consider me worth the time to talk to? And he basically dismissed the church. Like, he goes, "You guys all need to go home this week and pray about that. Think about that, about what we're here for, and we'll see you next week." And kicked them all out. So I just thought about that. I mean, how oftentimes we look at appearances and make these judgments about people. And there's always pray that. Arlene always talks about that with me, and seeing other people with the Lord's eyes, and having a little more patience and seeing people with the Lord's eyes, because appearance is not always what it seems, is it? So chapter 53 of Isaiah: "Who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? He grew up from before him like a tender shoot, and like a root out of dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. He was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain, like one from whom people hide their faces. He was despised, and we held him in low esteem. Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him and afflicted. But he was pierced for our transgressions, he was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was upon him, and by his wounds we are healed. We all, like sheep, have gone astray. Each of us has turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. He was oppressed and afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth. He was led like a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before its shearers is silent, so he did not open his mouth. By oppression and judgment he was taken away. Yet who of his generation protested? For he was cut off from the land of the living. For the transgressions of my people he was punished. He was assigned a grave with the wicked, and with the rich in his death, though he had done no violence, nor was any deceit in his mouth. Yet it was the Lord's will to crush him, to cause him to suffer. And though the Lord makes his life an offering for sin, he will see his offspring and prolong his days. And the will of the Lord will prosper in his hand. After he has suffered, he will see the light of life and be satisfied. By his knowledge, my righteous servant will justify many, and he will bear their iniquities. Therefore I will give him a portion among the great, and he will divide the spoils with the strong, because he poured out his life unto death and was numbered with the transgressors. For he bore the sin of many and made intercession for the transgressors." I love that. I mean, it leads right off. Who's believed our message? To whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? It's like this irony. How can this be that the God's Savior that He sends to save mankind was of no account, and we held Him in low esteem? It was just, there was nothing in Him that attracted us, or that on appearance wise would draw us to Him. He's not a king. He wasn't born of royalty. He wasn't like Saul, head and shoulders above every man. I mean, he probably was just average looking guy. There was something different, wasn't there? And he bore our pain. I read this, and it's just like, this is Jesus. I mean, this particular chapter was referenced quite a bit. The fact that he never said anything when he was being on trial before Pontius and before the Sanhedrin. Everything, it points right to it, to Jesus. And he saved us all. So hope this was a blessing to you. I hope you have a great Sunday. I've got a couple of videos coming, planned on the way. I've tried to get back with it a little bit more. I got a little bit more time, so hopefully get a little more cooking here, because it's been a long time. But have a great Sunday, and we'll see you next time. Take care.